Hi, this is Gadi Elkan with Sillig Film News here at the Dallas International Film Festival. We're here with the team behind Cortez.
I'm Arron Shiver. I'm the co-writer and actor and producer.
I'm Cheryl Nichols, and I'm the co-writer and director and actor.
So before we jump into the fun of the film, a little bit about y'all's connection. I love the fact that, so Little Elm?
I'm from Little Elm, yeah.
And I know originally from Baton Rouge, but ended up in New Mexico.
That's right.
Basically where you guys shot, near Taos.
Yeah, right in and around Taos, New Mexico. And I moved there when I was 9 from Dallas, actually. But I was born in Baton Rouge and had spent time in Austin, Lufkin, Tyler, Nacogdoches, all around. My first 9 years of my life was this area of the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Texas tour, definitely.
Yeah,
I love
for sure.
the name Lufkin.
Lufkin is a good.
Lufkin.
It's better than Bluffkin. It's a little weird.
Yeah,
That's
Bluffkin,
like we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
In
we
public.
don't like Bluffkin.
But you used to do the Texas to California drive, and you went through Taos, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, but you guys ended up meeting out in L.A.
Yeah, we'd never met before. I used to just, I would do like the 22-hour drive from LA to Texas, and so I would stop in like Sedona and whatever, and then I started stopping in Taos, but we never met. But I would go to the restaurant that he worked at.
I worked in this restaurant for 10 years called Joseph's Table, and Cheryl definitely was there a few times during the years that I worked there.
Never
and
met.
she also would stay at the Mabel Dodge House, which is like it's now a bed and breakfast, but it's kind of like this famous arts patron had this beautiful hacienda right in the middle of town. So Cheryl would always stay there. So she fell in love with Taos before she fell in love with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So-
and so then we met in LA and just kind of instantly had a
She
connection.
knew I was. This will blow your mind. She knew that I was from Taos before I told her I was from Taos.
That's kind of spooky.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
because
spooky.
I asked him because there was something about the way he was like kind of staring at me, and I said, "Are you, by any chance, this is a weird question, are you from Taos?"
And I was like, yeah.
And then we found out that I had known his friend Dylan.
We had
and-
mutual friends going way
yeah.
back too.
So we were sort of like meant to meet. It was gonna happen at some point. That's
Wow.
yeah.
Yep.
And then when we did sort of finally become friends, we decided to write a movie together. So.
When did you guys come up with the concept of the name change to Cortez and it being kind of like a sister way to look at Taos? Because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of people film in Taos in New Mexico.
Well, New Mexico is pretty popular as far as like Albuquerque and Santa Fe. There's a lot of things that film there. But yeah, nobody goes up to Taos just because if you shoot something in Taos, then you're basically agreeing to put everybody up because getting back home to Santa Fe or Albuquerque is too far. So usually people don't shoot up there. But the way that we came up with the name for the movie and renaming the town was I didn't want to name it Taos, like I just thought that was kind of cheesy.
Well, you're sort of beholden to Taos then. Then it has.
then
to
it
be sort
has
of,
to be. Then everybody's watching it going,
Oh,
all
that's
right.
not.
Oh, that's not
Taos.
Taos, or that is Taos.
Right.
We didn't want to have to deal with that. So Cheryl and I in Echo Park, and this is a neighborhood in Los Angeles, we used to eat at this restaurant called Cortez, and we would eat there whenever we were trying to figure out a problem in the script, or that's how it ended up happening. It's like we would eat there and figure out something about the script. So we would say when we were having a problem, then our the way we talked about it was we would say, well, let's just Cortez it. In other words, let's just we'll just take a pause and go and figure it out. And so Cortez started having like a magical sort of meaning and to us. And then Cortez is everywhere, by the way, in Taos and all around New Mexico. So everything is named. There's Cortez Park and there's like Hernan Cortez Pool and so he's like a very
It's like a
prolific,
mythical kind of creature there in a way.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
but
mean,
even
he's
though
just-
he's not a popular figure.
No, everybody hates him, but and so then that's another reason why we thought it would work for the script, because my character Jesse, he's this musician and he's egotistical and he's hard on people that he loves, and the movie is really an exploration of the male ego, and so Cortez is the sort of embodiment of that Hernan Cortez, the historical figure, and so all of those things work together. That's your very long answer.
I've never heard that before, actually. It's good.
Yeah. Yep. All those things. Yeah.
So when you guys, another kind of casting moment that I think is kind of brilliant, and your son's in it,
He is.
but you guys forced him to audition.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it was.
Not forced, but you had some
Yeah,
audition.
we actually forced him. We
Well, he had wanted to do when we were writing the script. We wrote it with him in mind, but we didn't necessarily want him to be in it. We were just thinking about it when we were writing it. But he had read parts of the script and asked if he was going to play Ben, and so we said, yeah, maybe if you audition. And so, but he showed up to the audition and just nailed it. And then he was there with a bunch of other kids. So we called him back, and he had to do the callback. And he was super
so he had to actually
nervous.
go through 2 rounds.
Yeah, he had to do the same as everybody else. He had to show up there with the rest of the callback kids. And we thought that was important to make sure that he really wanted to do it and that he would show up every day sort of focused, you know. And he totally did. He knew his lines. He knew not only his lines, he knew everybody else's lines.
Yeah, he was better at memorizing lines than me, and I wrote the script. Yeah. That's like, I was kind of like, oh, dude,
well, you
forget,
are
just
in
give
more
me a
of the
second.
movie.
I'm older than you.
But he does have a lot to say. I mean, like there's a lot of dialogue sequences, and there's a lot of him in the film.
A lot of emotional work too that he really showed up for. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's just you two out in the forest.
Yep.
Isn't that stuff great? I love it.
Well, there's one sequence I want to talk about and jump to is the dinner sequence. That is one of the most powerful dinner things I've ever seen. There's so many emotions for each character, and there's the escalation with the drinking just adds so much to it. Can you talk about shooting that coverage-wise? Because that looks like it must have been tough, because you guys did go with each character. It seems like you did coverage on everyone
Well,
perfectly.
we wanted that to feel like a play. I think when we wrote the movie originally, we were writing it thinking about, because we're both theater actors, or actors, and so I wanted it to feel like a play in a way, like one of those sort of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, like long, drawn-out things. So when we were shooting it, we shot it 14 times all the way through. So we went to each character and let each character have their own journey through the piece, through the whole scene. So the scene's like, when we shot it, it was actually longer. It was like 17 pages.
Wow.
And so we did 17 pages 14 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and what that did, it was a little agonizing, but we had the whole day to do it, and everybody just came to the scene rehearsed. We rehearsed it, and we were ready, and so we just did it as if it was a theater rehearsal. So it was agonizing, but I think everybody actually got to do their best work, which sometimes you don't get to do in film, especially in those scenes. You kind of have to pop into moments, and I really didn't want that for this scene. I thought it was really important that when I got to the cutting room floor, I really wanted to have everybody's best performance, and I wanted to have everybody's most honest performance.
It's essential with something like that, because that could crash and burn. You know, that big of a monster of a scene with all those emotional things going on in it. Like if Cheryl didn't do it that way, you know, tried to pop in or just like hurried it, you know, just only had half a day, for instance, to shoot it, so she had to not do all that coverage or didn't have time to go through every single, you know, go through the whole thing every time, she might have ended up in the editing room without enough to like have that impact.
And I'm really against shooting longer than 10 hours. Like I'll only shoot 10 hours. And so if you can believe it, we did all of that in less than 10 hours.
Less than 10,
Yeah.
It was more like 8 actually, because it was like 4 hours of setup and then 4 hours of like brutal
Hammering.
One camera for each. Wow.
Yeah, so
We shot with one camera.
The whole time. Yeah.
The original concept was to do it all in one take. That was the concept, was
We're
to
gonna
shoot.
have like one.
Just to
shot?
move, because I like to move around with the camera rather than cutting as much as I can. And I'm hopefully in my future work I can do that more. But the original idea was just to have the 17 pages not cut once, just to have one take.
Yeah.
It didn't work for the scene. It wasn't right.
It didn't end up being right for the scene, which is cool. Like Cheryl kind of improvised on the day, or we kind of built up to it. We were rehearsing a lot, and she finally was like,
It made sense.
Nah, I got to cover this thing. Like I got to get in with everybody so that I have all the options. And
I'm gonna do that sometime though.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out in the film. It was
Thanks.
extremely powerful to watch.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you're looking at Ben, the character Ben, was so amazing. Like you get immediately what's going on, but the further you connect with how do I approach this, the more drunk you get, it's crazier.
Yeah.
There's one scene that remember when you guys there's a shot where they both take a drink, and it really happened organically the first time, and then we had Jackson recreate it on his second take. But they they both take a drink at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was, and Jesse's drinking a beer, and his kid is drinking water, and Ben is drinking water, but he's mimicking him.
Yeah,
in
he's
this
starting
way.
to pick up his mannerisms
Yeah.
even at the table,
And it
it's
was
like,
something,
oh God,
yeah,
kid, don't do it.
It was something that happened organically that was pretty cool.
That's
actually.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Can you talk about, because I mean, Taos visually is stunning, and the exterior shots, especially like the house that you find that you guys live in, just the starkness of just it being the only thing out there, and then compared to like the interiors of the bar and how that kind of, how you were able to jump in back and forth between the beauty of the outside world, but also kind of the ruggedness of being in town.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you picked up on that, man. I really am, because I think Taos is like, people have a conception of Taos being like this beautiful place, and it is a beautiful place, but there's also like a grungy, dirty side to it, you know? Like those characters that we run into and go to the party with and stuff. So I think that's a really cool thing that you picked up on. I don't know if we were, and I think I deliberately wanted things like that to be in the story, because I feel like we should show different sides of Taos. Like,
Well, it's
people always
written
think
like
about
that.
yeah, exactly.
I
It's
mean,
in the
it is-
script.
It's in
so.
the script that.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to have kind of our pick of locations. Like, people were very open arms to us there. What was important is that we didn't shoot in like a pretty bar. We didn't want to shoot in a bar that felt like this was a nice place to work. We wanted to shoot in a place that felt like maybe it was a little rough around the edges, or that, I mean, it's the Elks Lodge, which is, I mean, they're great. They're fantastic guys. But like,
Amazing.
it was definitely, or the Eagles Lodge, sorry,
The
not
Eagles.
Elks Lodge. It was an Eagles Lodge.
But our friend Johnny, who produced the movie, he's from Taos, and he's one of my best friends, and he just went and joined the Eagles Lodge.
Yeah,
and like
he
got
became
to
a
know those
member.
guys. He's like, I'll be a member if you guys let me shoot here, and like, you know, so it was one of those. He would like go drink for a week before they gave him like, okay, you can, you know.
It was kind of how all of the locations worked out
Yeah.
in that way. We had to do Johnny had to do the same thing with the Pueblo. He had to go talk to the war chief and
Well, that's where we shot the
was
hot
a hot
spring
spring
scene
scene.
at the very beginning of the film. Is on like the place where the Pueblo Indians of Taos believe all their people originated, basically. So like it's like the most sacred spot in that in their mythology.
and they let us shoot.
So we had to definitely get approval for that. We couldn't just go jump in the hot springs.
Yeah, so in that way,
it
I
took like a
think
month. For
That's
us to get that
probably
approval.
why we have this kind of varying, these sort of levels of locations where it's just like outer beauty and natural beauty, and I think that's also probably subconsciously somewhere in the script. The sort of natural beauty of a place and the allure of the superficiality or the
Well,
idea
just how it
of
appears,
something,
how it appears.
and then when
Yeah.
you go inside, it feels cramped or it feels sort of dirty or
Or
it
there's just
feels-
other things going on.
Yeah, there's life
underneath. It's
in
not
there.
just one thing. It's
Yeah.
not just here. I'm going to bump this thing for a third time. I'm going to knock it over.
Well, I guess to kind of switch to another part of the movie that I thought was well done is the music, and we don't necessarily see you play that much, but the subtlety of the music in the film. And did you guys have someone from local natives?
Yeah, Taylor Rice
Yeah,
and his
yeah.
writing partner Bethany Taves wrote a song for that. So that was the last song in the movie.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sean Watkins did the score, and he also wrote a song that's earlier on in the movie when you hear Jesse playing on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
In the car, it's
In the
very
car.
it's just briefly.
yeah.
I think Cheryl made the decision, and I won't speak for her completely,
No,
but I
please
will a
speak
little
for
bit. I think she made the decision to not see me sing until the very end of the movie. I think she made that like a specific choice. And we actually had a note early on from a friend who said, man, it'd be great for his likability, if my character's likability, if we could see him sing earlier on, because that would give us something to like about him, you know? And I was like, well, I think he's likable enough. I don't really think we need to do that. No,
I also
I know.
I didn't want it to just be like a movie with.
Well, also it's a spoon. It would be like a spoon feeding thing. Like here's some stuff so that you can make him likable. And I just think that's not where we were at. That wasn't our mentality about like telling this story. No, it certainly wasn't my mentality. I know it wasn't Cheryl's either. I don't think.
Well,
Right?
no, and I just think it's much more powerful when the music is is more incidental. You know what I mean? And Sean was very much on board with that. And the way that Sean did the score, the way that we created the score was Sean was like experimenting on instruments and kind of stretching himself in a way. So we were both able to like feel out looking at the visuals of the movie. He was playing along while watching the movie. So he was being inspired by what he was seeing, by the beauty of Taos or by the bar or whatever. So I think it was more important to have a musician's take on the score than to have Jesse just playing music through the entire movie. You know, because Jesse's musicianness is less important to the movie than his the place where he is and his ego. You know.
Yeah, and the fact that the song comes in at the end, I just think personally, I think it's a really strong choice, and it has a lot of impact that way, and so that's what we.
And that song is gorgeous. I love that song.
And that's me singing and playing. I don't know
It's
if anybody-
true.
Yeah.
Another kind of extra character that I love is the car that you guys drive in, because you guys could have picked anything, but to have that type of car, it fits you, but the fact that you never really drive it until the very end.
Yeah.
How much fun was it to have that vehicle? And I think,
dude, it was so much
cool.
fun. Let me tell you,
Did
it
it break
was
down
so
or anything?
much damn fun.
The boys loved it.
It almost did break down, actually.
Arron and
So the guy who
Drago.
plays Eric in the movie is my best friend for 20 years. We went to acting school together. He's just a gem of a human
can
being.
you say his name? His name sounds badass.
Drago Schumann,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Drago Schumann, yeah. So he and his father have a business refurbishing Mustangs. So they are like Mustang obsessed. Like, he's crazy about Mustangs. So the original in the script, it was an El Camino. We could not get an El Camino, but somebody in town, my friend Johnny, who I was telling you about before, who got everything for us, sent me a picture of this black Mustang and said, "Yeah, my friend Jeff owns this thing. It's a '65. It's in good shape, or '66 maybe." And I was just like, because we'd already cast Drago at that time, and I was just like, "Yes, we'll take the Mustang." And then we drove it around for like 4 days, and we went up to Colorado with it. We did get a little knock, so it was knocking a little bit
Okay.
at one point, and Jeff got a little upset, but I think we paid him to get it fixed. But
Yeah, I mean, driving an old car, I would not recommend
it's
using
just an
an
old
old
car.
car in a
It's
movie.
gonna.
It
But
nearly killed the DP, Kelly. He had to sit in the back and
And get all
the
this
fumes
exhaust.
from
Yeah.
the thing, and so he nearly passed out at the end. Like it was, it
But-
was a liability.
But so it's summertime. We're driving around northern New Mexico, like the most beautiful landscapes. It's my best friend and I, and it's a damn Mustang, and we're making a movie. It's like couldn't get any better than that.
No,
it
it
was
was
really
pretty
couldn't.
gorgeous.
It was damn
Fun to ride
damn
into.
nice. Yep.
Well, you guys showcased it last night for a Dallas audience.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Did anyone from Little Elm step on by?
Yeah, my best friend growing up, one of my old teachers. It was pretty cool, actually. My whole family was there. It's always weird when you're doing the festival thing and then you come to your town and then suddenly you get a bunch of your family there because you're not, you're sort of you're in your element and then they kind of step into it and you're like, whoa, my dad just saw my boobs,
Oh, the very beginning, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
there's
There's a
some
penis shot too.
There's
in
penis.
There. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
boobies and penis. I think if you're gonna
Equal opportunity
yeah,
exploitation.
that's sort of if I'm gonna put boobs in a movie, I'm gonna put penis in a movie.
Can we just say penis one more time? Okay, I did it.
But you got to play last night too.
I did. Yes.
How'd that go?
You know what, man? It surprisingly went well. I don't really play out very often at all. In fact, that might have been technically the first time I've got up in front of people just to share my music. Like I've shared my music incidentally other ways, but it went surprisingly well.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
Cheryl liked it.
Well, guys, it was a lovely film. I love the ending and the fact that we're not sure what that noise is, but we want to know what it is.
Yeah.
And I really was blown away by just the beauty of the film and what you guys were able to capture. So thank you guys.
Thanks,
You like
man.
the ending, huh?
Yeah. I don't want to see necessarily who or what is
Yeah.
coming, but I think it fits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Sounds